Cuphead was my favorite game of 2017. Its concept is very simple. It's either A, enter a level and reach the end, or B, enter a level and beat a boss. Repeat this for 3.5 worlds and you got Cuphead. Of course, there's much more to it, but that's not the point of this video. Throughout the lifespan of my channel, I did in fact play Cuphead in a funny moment series on my channel. Did I finish it? Well, I'm not even gonna try this off screen. This is where I give up. I just give up. I'm not gonna play this game anymore. I can defeat this guy. I'm just not good enough at video games. I'm not that great at video games, okay? Anyway, if you have the ability to read, then you know why I brought you all here today. It's time for the second installment of
Revenge of the Glitch.
While I thought Cuphead was an amazing game, it has countless bugs. I have seldom seen a game with this many bugs in fact. Now, while most of these are patched in the current Steam version, the very first Cuphead version is easily available, and, as you might have guessed, all glitches still exist in this version. And before you start bitching, yes, I'm very aware that there are many YouTube videos covering Cuphead glitches already, but I just wanted to try them myself and I figured I might as well make a video out of it. So, this game is notoriously known for having many softlogs, both with your own player model and the bosses you're fighting. However, I felt like these are a little boring to show off. It's basically, hey, look how I can make this boss freeze.
Mommy, please help me.
Or, hey, look how I can endlessly spin in the air every single time. So in this video, I will only be showing the most interesting glitches. Some glitches that actually have some substance to it. So that's why we're starting off with the crying Garrett glitch. In aisle 1, enter the boss fight at the fence. This boss fight, as per usual in Cuphead, exists of 3 phases. The first phase is a potato that's just shooting mud at you, but this phase isn't important. The second phase, however, is where the glitch occurs. In the second phase, the potato transformed into an onion that's continuously crying for some reason and its tears are doing damage. However, this crying isn't continuous, it happens in cycles. If you beat the second phase at the start of a crying cycle, the onion will disappear, but the stream of tears stays. And thus its third phase, which is a carrot, still has the crying animation on screen. Is this useful? Most definitely not. Is it funny? Hell yeah. All jokes aside, let's get into some actual interesting glitches. So for this next glitch, all you need is an existing save file with all worlds unlocked and another empty save file slot. Before doing this, make sure you exit the existing save file in world 2 or 3, it doesn't really matter which one. What you want to do is click on the save file in the menu and while the screen is fading out, go to the empty slot and press A. If you do this fast enough, which isn't that hard, you will indeed be spawned into the third world. But once you check the dungeon list, it shows everything as a bunch of question marks, as if it hasn't been unlocked yet. Because of moving to the empty save file slot when trying to load the existing one, they sorta combined into a save file with everything locked and unlocked at the same time. As you can see right here, you get spawned into the start of the world, so you can't actually progress any further. However, you can do the bosses required to unlock the rest of the world at the start of this world. But I don't think you will want to do that, because there's the following thing happening. If you leave the third world and go to the second world, you will be spawned at the start of the second world, as if you just walked in from world 1 instead of world 3. Once again, everything is locked, so you have to beat the bosses in order to even get to the door to world 3 again. On top of that, even if you beat any boss in these worlds, the job list still shows it as if you didn't actually beat it. However, if you exit to the title screen, it does actually show that you progressed in the game. I have no clue how this works, but you did actually beat the boss, but you didn't. Right. Anyway, if you exit to world 1, you'll be spawned in at the start of the world as well, having to make your way through bosses again to access the door to world 2. Now I can hear you ask, what's even the benefit of this glitch? Well, there's one small benefit to this. If you leave world 2, you get spawned into world 1 immediately, which means you can straight up skip the introductory cutscene. So this could be useful for speedrunners, I guess, maybe. But I don't think it would save that much time, so yeah. That's pretty much all you can do with this glitch. Not that many benefits. For this next glitch, we move to the second to last boss fight, King Dice. Or well, actually, we'll move to World 3 first. So boss battles in this game have two difficulties, regular and simple. Regular is hard in my opinion, and simple is for the Super Weenies Club. Considering I'm a gigantic weenie, we'll pick simple this time. But I don't know guys, even simple is too hard for me I think. I'm fucking shit at any video game I play, so I don't even want to try it, I'm too scared, so I'm just gonna exit the level and move back to King Dice immediately. So, before doing anything, let me explain what King Dice's boss fight really is. In this level, King Dice rolls a dice with a range from 1 to 3, and you can decide what it lands on by parrying the dice. Your goal is to reach the end, where you fight King Dice himself, but before that you have to fight these mini-bosses, depending on where the dice lands on. I hope that makes enough sense. Anyway, what we just did by exiting the level is pretty simple. I hate myself sometimes. Once we enter any of these mini-bosses, the game is still in simple mode from World 3 for some reason. However, these mini-bosses are programmed to be on the other difficulty, regular. This causes a glitch in the matrix where all mini-bosses are fucked up. Number 1, 2 and 3 aren't moving at all and are basically free KOs. Number 4, 5 and 6 are even worse, which is why you can't use this glitch to pretty much skip the entire King Dice fight. In number 4, the boss is under the level and straight up unhittable. In number 5, the boss is supposed to pop up out of his head, but it never does. And in number 6, the boss just straight up doesn't spawn in. Considering the dice only goes up to 3, you can get past this and are thus soft locked. Honestly, this glitch is so surprising to me. All you have to do is press the simple difficulty at your last boss fight before this, and then all these mini bosses are bugged. It really makes you wonder if they even playtested this game before releasing it to the general public. I'm just baffled, okay? Now, while that was pretty dumb, just wait until you see this next glitch, okay? In Rugged Ridge, you'll have these wolves that enter the level by rope, after which they repeatedly throw their pickaxe at you like a boomerang. If you kill these wolves as soon as they land, the rope with which they enter just keeps chilling in the level, opposed to leaving the screen as normal. As you might have expected, you can repeat this endlessly because the wolves keep spawning in. So if you repeat this for a while, you can create this beautiful wall of hanging ropes. Now, I can show you a wall of ropes that I created, but let me show you a better result instead. This YouTuber called FastPass left his PC on for 72 hours, while setting up Cuphead in such a way that it would automatically kill the wolves when they landed. As a result of this crazy ass wall was created. And as you can see, the game can't really handle that many objects in one level. This is like 1 frame per second. It's completely broken. But when I think of glitches, I think of getting out of bounds. And so far I haven't really shown that off. So let's get to some out of bounds stuff. Cuphead doesn't have that many out of bounds glitches, but one of the most significant ones is one in Treetop Trouble. Once you get to this part of the level, which honestly isn't that far in, you can actually clip through this tree right here. If you stand on this log and do a very precise jump with a parry afterwards, you can clip through the tree and be stuck there pretty much. You can go up for a bit, but at some point you will not be able to go any further up, and you can also go to the left to get back to the start of the level. If you do move to the left, however, you will pretty much always take damage from one of the enemies here. Because in this level, there's this bird that always tries to kill you with its beak. Once you're out of bounds, you're pretty much walking through its head, and to my knowledge there's not really a way to avoid this. Also, in case you thought you were soft locked when you clip yourself through the tree right here, if you walk all the way to the left, you get to the start of the level. And like I said, it's not that far in, so you get there pretty quickly. If you walk all the way to the left, you'll fall off the tree and you can do the level as normal. But now I can hear you think, can you actually do something with this glitch? Can you skip the entire level? No. The part where you go up and you can't really get any further, that's pretty much where it ends. All you can do is go all the way to the start and fall off the tree, or well, reset. But hey, it's an out of bounds glitch where you can actually walk, which is pretty rare in this game, so yay. This glitch can also be done with 2 players. If you let player 2 die, you can revive him by parrying him, which gives you a little bit of a jump boost. Now if you combine this with the pink jumping ball enemy, you can parry the pink ball enemy first and then parry the dead body of player 2. This will have the same effect as previously. It will make you glitch through the tree and you're once again at the same spot out of bounds. I tried to do this myself, with player 1 being on keyboard and player 2 being on controller, but my hands and brain just couldn't handle it. You really need a second player to pull this off, or you need to be actually good at video games. Like, I was unable to switch between controller and keyboard fast enough to actually make this work. But it is possible, and do with it whatever you want. I'm just saying, the player 1 version is way easier to pull off. While we are on the out of bounds topic, let's revisit Rugged Ridge. Opposed to the rope glitch, we'll advance a little further into the level this time. At some point, you'll stumble upon this wall that's mandatory to defeat if you want to beat the level. This wall is spitting what seems to be oil at you, and this is exactly what makes this glitch possible. As per usual, you can parry pink objects to gain some height, and if you parry first and dash quickly afterwards, you can get on top of this wall. Now all you have to do is shoot downwards and kill it. If you stand on top of this wall while its death animation is happening, you'll keep floating in the air, as if the wall is still there. Not only that, but you can also walk to the left and you can also walk to the right at this height. In fact, you can even beat the level by just simply walking above it. If you jump or dash or whatever, the game realizes you shouldn't be walking on an invisible wall and you'll fall down again. But hey, if you don't do any of that, you can simply walk towards the end. Finally, a useful glitch. You're welcome. However, I'm yet to show off the biggest out of bounds glitch, even though it's not very useful. So for this glitch, you'll need 2 players, and then go to aisle 1. Position player 1 next to the fence I talked about earlier on during the Garrett glitch. Then position player 2 next to this particular NPC. As you can see, both players are pretty much on the opposite sides of the screen right now. After this, all you need to do is talk to the NPC with player 2. Once the dialogue ends, start moving player 1 to the left. As you can see right here, both players are pushed off screen. Now simply press remove player 2 and add him again, and ta-da! You're both out of bounds in aisle 1. This is pretty much all there is to it though. You can walk around for a bit, but you can't access the inbounds world anymore. What I did notice though, is that the developers created some very weird borders. A lot of these borders are in the middle of trees or lighthouses and... Hey! What are you 2 doing over there? Ew! Anyway, that's pretty much all there is to it. If you want to get back inbounds, there's one way to do so. Walk towards the end of aisle 1 and you'll be able to press A on the entrance to aisle 2, which will in fact put you back where you belong. The glitch also works in the other 2 aisles. Both players will get pushed off screen, but I don't think there's a way to actually get out of bounds in any other spot than the fence spot. The footage here might look a little weird, but both players are still in bounds at this point, despite being pushed off screen. You can actually push both players out of screen pretty much anywhere, but to my knowledge there isn't any other spot to get out of bounds than at the fence in World 1 sadly. Now, I saved the best for last, because for the final glitch of this video, I'm gonna do the Mugman Glitch. In case you didn't know, the player 2 model is for some reason called Mugman. So, in this game, there's actually a way to make Mugman spawn over and over again, creating an army of Mugman. All of them are still controlled by one person, but it does look really funny. For this glitch, head over to the menu and hover over Remove Player 2. If you press remove player 2 with player 1, which is thus keyboard and mouse, and press the A button with player 2, which is thus the controller, exactly 1 frame after, the game will glitch out and ta-da! You spawned in a second player 2. If you do this too early or too late, nothing will happen and you have to try again. It's really just this single frame. But I decided to see how far I was able to take this glitch until I straight up crashed my game. Hitting the exact 1 frame was a pain for a terrible gamer like me, so it took me a few hours to get anything done. After a bit, I had spawned in a bunch of Mugmen and I wanted to check if anything happened. As soon as I started walking them around, this happened. The music just straight disappeared because I apparently glitched the matrix with all these Mugmen. I figured it would come back after I stopped walking, but it never did. So I had to do the rest of these duplications in complete silence, which was, yeah, pretty painful, I guess. Anyway, the more Mugmen I spawned in, the easier it felt to hit the 1 frame window to spawn them in. 30 minutes later, I had more than doubled my previous army, and as soon as I started walking, well, just see for yourself. Now, this is the glitchy mess I'm looking for in an episode of this series, okay? On top of lagging while I was moving these blue cups, every time they hit a wall or anything, it sounded like the most fire beat was about to drop. But of course, this wasn't enough yet. Another 10 minutes later, I created an army that just bugged the hell out with every step. Like, doesn't this sound nice to you? I don't really have any footage of this, but the more Mugmen I spawned in, the more annoying the pauses between spawns got. Every time I missed the 1 frame window, it would take longer for the quote-unquote press any button to join for player 2 message to appear. First, it took 30 seconds, then a minute, then 5 minutes, etc, until I got the following result. Without any commentary, just look at this mess for yourself. So there you have it, a completely broken and lagged out game. Even when the Mugmen were standing still, player 1 was teleporting instead of walking around, and on top of that, the sound of his feet sounds fucked up as well for some reason. I felt so close to breaking the game at this point, but there were 2 things that made this the final footage I really recorded. So, first things first, like I mentioned earlier, every time I missed the 1 frame window, it would take longer and longer to get the player 2 joining message to appear. Before that showed up, any controller input wouldn't do shit. The footage you're seeing right now is from me standing around for a whole hour to get the message to appear again, which would be tedious to endure every time. But then you could be like, just hit the 1 frame window every time. Well, that's where you're wrong. The game started lagging so fucking hard that my inputs weren't read as soon as I pressed anything. Just look at the menu spazzing out here. This isn't slowed down or anything, it's literally just the game slowly dying from torture. So long story short, the 1 frame was almost impossible to hit at this point. And if I missed it, I had to stand around for pretty much forever. So yeah, I didn't crash the game, but this was the point where I decided to call it a day. On that sad note, those are all the Cuphead glitches I wanted to show off today. Like I said, this game is way more broken than you have seen in this video, but there's enough footage hanging around somewhere on the interwebs that already showcased how bad it can really get. For now, I want to thank you guys for watching the second installment of
Revenge of the Glitch.
If you like this video, then definitely leave a like rating. If you liked even more than definitely, hit that subscribe button. If you want to see any games covered in this series, then let me know, because I think I'm gonna be doing this forever. I fucking love glitching around. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Peace.
Yeah. I've broken hearts before I knew the heart was mine to break. I've broken promises not knowing that woman would be my wife one day. What's the ramifications? Spend my 20s making mistakes, spend my money on vacation. Wish I spent it making money, wish I learned to save it. I got time to make it right, I gotta learn to take it. Moves I should be making, but I'm too